Dubbed as Mzansi's realist couple, Mo and Phindi Grootboom are back with another book intended for couples that are planning to take their relationship to the next level. Now, in their latest offering titled Stuff We Wish We Knew Before Getting Married, the duo unpacks 13 lessons to help couples know what awaits them when they get married. For more on the spiritual purpose of marriage, to handling conflicts and finances, to the role of in-laws, Mo and Phindi are with us on Skype this morning to unpack this read. Mo and Phindi, South Africa's realist couple, marriage goals, couple goals, and the litmus test of what a happy marriage looks like. A very good morning to you. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning.
Hi, Sims.
It's good to be back.
It's good to have you again on the show. Ladies first, Phindi, I'm going to start with you. Let's perhaps start with where this quest of helping people fall and stay in love come from, well, couples in particular.
Look, I really think it comes from what we've gone through ourselves in our marriage. You know, we say this book is an outline of our aha moments in the 15 years of marriage. So it really comes from what we've gone through ourselves, the challenges that we faced in our marriage. And we really felt that, no, we can't just do this to ourselves. It's something that we need to share with the public, especially people who are not married yet, you know, because most of the stuff that we realize or we learn about marriage is stuff that we learn in marriage. As much as the book is intended for married and unmarried couples, but we really wanted to share, you know, stuff that we had learned ourselves that we didn't know until we were in marriage, for us to realize what marriage is really, really about.
Yeah, and you speak of this aha moment, and I know that many ladies who are watching this interview right now are actually praying to find a man who looks at you the way that Mo looks at you right now. Well, Mo, let me bring you into this conversation. Now, this book comes at a time where many relationships are tested because most couples either spend time together or apart. Now, take us through the impact this coronavirus pandemic may have on couples.
Sims, man, the impact is huge. We see couples in this particular way on a regular basis, on a daily basis. The impact coronavirus has on people, on families, is devastating. We only learned recently about the number of about over 3 million job losses, you know, in the last 3 months or so, you know, and that's not just the number. Those are families, those are people, you know, who provide for their families and so forth. And a lot of people are experiencing job losses for the first time. And meaning that they don't know how to handle and navigate, you know, the process, and the devastating effect that it has on families is absolutely. And then obviously the other impact would obviously be conflict. People step on each other's toes during this process because, you know, you are in a forced quality time, you know, that you have to spend together, you know, and you're not allowed to go certain places that usually would go to. So there's a lot of irritations and, you know, irritabilities and so on. But the positive to that is that you are given an opportunity, you know, to manage, you know, your relationship and also, you know, how to resolve conflict in a better way.
Yeah, and take us through some of these 13 things that you and Phindi wish you knew before getting married. I suppose there's a whole lot more, but why are these the most important lessons for you guys?
Okay, one of the things that we speak about a lot in the book, and we relate our experience on, is finances in a marriage. Whether you like it or not, and whether you speak about finances in your marriage or not, you know, finances are bound to affect you in your marriage. We always say, whether you have less money or you have more money, either way, you get affected by it. You know, there are marriages that break because there's lots of money and because couples are chasing money. There's also relationships or marriages that break because there's no money. So either, you know, you have a lot of it or either you have less. Money is bound to affect you in your marriage, whether you like it or not. And we speak about the fact that when you get married, we never speak about money. I mean, it's one of the biggest taboos in marriage. And yet it's one of the top 10 reasons why marriages, break, why people divorce. And yet we actually don't even speak about it. And it's amazing. And one of the things that we talk about is we encourage couples that have that conversation. You need to know who you're getting yourself into. Are you married to someone who has a terrible relationship with money? Or are you marrying someone who has a really good relationship with money? Because that will affect your marriage, whether you allow it as a conversation or not in your marriage.
And the most important thing is that as couples, we don't have these kinds of conversations. And why is money such an important factor in a marriage? And why are couples shying away from having conversations about money? And why is it also important that the reasonable expectation is that a certain gender needs to have more money than the other gender for the other gender to respect them?
Yeah. Look, I think that one of the reasons that money is a huge subject in relationships and in marriage in this case is that a lot of the conversation and a lot of the conflicts that we encounter in marriage and which we say it's about money is actually not about money. It is about our value systems and what Phindi talked about earlier around our relationships that we have with money. Okay. Sometimes you will clash with your spouse because in this case, she spent money that you planned for something else and you clash over that. But you find that that's not the root of the issue. The root of the issue are the values, higher values, around finances. And so values, they impact our lives on a daily basis and until we die, because those are, if you like, the dogmas upon which we form our lives. And so that's one of the reasons. But also, secondly, I think that with money, there are dynamics around, and if you look in this, South Africa today, with affirmative action, with Black economic empowerment, a certain gender is put at the front of the other, and for good reason. And so you find a lot of men who are unemployed or men who have lost income, obviously, who earn less. In their marriages, and that has a psychological impact, which goes back again to the value system that you guys have, around money and the relationship that you each have with money.
Now, Phindi, you make a lot of reference to God and the role that he plays in the creation of successful unions. Talk to us about that, as well as what the spiritual purpose of a marriage is.
One of our discoveries, even though we got married in whilst being born-again Christians, but one of our discoveries in marriage, we realized how God is an important factor in a marriage. In actual fact, one of the discoveries is, the Bible begins and it ends with marriage, and we learned that God is the creator of marriage. And there was a big aha moment for us. Because if God is the creator of marriage, then what does it say to us as people who are married? It means you find all your answers in God. You find all your answers in the Bible. And all this time, as married people, we try and find our answers in places where we shouldn't be seeking answers from. The creator of something is the one who's able to define something for you, is the one who's able to tell you how something ought to function. And for us, there was a huge discovery to actually realize that marriage is not just about the two of us.
Right.
Marriage is about the two people that are married, but God becomes a big center of that marriage.
Certainly. Now, we don't have much time, unfortunately, so I'd love both of you to respond to this. I mean, for couples that are together currently but are not intending to get married anytime soon, are they able to use some of these lessons you share in the book?
It's certainly, we believe so. You see, one of the things we always say with Phindi, marriages are unique, and what makes a marriage unique from the other is the application of universal principles. At a broader level, all marriages are the same, in that we all apply the same principles. You need to be, faithful to your one partner, exclusivity. That you need to have a certain relationship with in-laws and all of. So there's a whole lot of principles which are universal. But what makes our marriages unique is the application of those principles. And certainly, if you get, two people together, and as you say, they are together, whether married or unmarried, these principles will definitely apply to them as well.
All right, Mo and Phindi, we have to leave it there, unfortunately. A great conversation this is. And yeah, it really is an interesting conversation. And for those unmarried couples who are still undecided whether to get married or not, and after watching this interview, I don't know what else would convince them. But thanks, guys, for joining us. That's professional relationship coaches, public speakers, TV producers and authors Mo and Phindi Grootboom. We've been speaking about their latest book titled Stuff We Wish We Knew Before Getting Married. It is 12 minutes to 8 o'clock.